Are you ready for some absolute banger update? So, the developers of the game have released a video about future updates of the game, and this basically includes for the next 4 months, including March, so March, April, May, and June, right? They gave us, the video is quite long. You cannot see this, I think, through my webcam. There we go, yeah, that works. It's 25 minutes long, but there's a lot of nonsense being talked about there, so I'll try to summarize the important stuff, right? Provide you some visuals with it, and yeah, we'll talk about what's in store for the next 4 months. There's a lot of OP stuff. You may have seen the thumbnail. It's insane. So yeah, let's get into it. So first of all, they had this weird Q&A session for a lot of content creators, right? I'll skip the... There we go. Hey, we got a barcode there. I'll skip the section there and I'll just summarize what was asked, at least the important stuff, right? And what they said. So first of all, there were a lot of questions about the game. There were, no offense, some weird, unimportant questions. I don't know, maybe they were instructed to ask this. But yeah, only a few people asked actually important questions. And yeah, so first of all, they confirmed that level 100 is coming this summer, and then later clarified that it's coming in June. So in June we will have level 100 most likely for both monsters and summoners, right? And then they gave us sort of a roadmap for the upcoming months. So some stuff that I've written down is the raids, the regular raids will be quick battleable, right? There will be quick battles, and the hero raids, the ones that currently require a party, will become solo, right? With these solo raids, you will have a normal mode and a ranked mode, and in ranked modes there will also be a leaderboard where you can compete for extra rewards, but the ranked mode will be a tiny bit harder, right? And on top of that, there will be a new tier that was teased previously, and that will be the mythic raids. They at least called it the mythic, it's probably not gonna be that. But yeah, there will be a mythic raid which will drop mythic gear later on. And for other questions, someone asked about merging Asia servers. Come on, lads. You got one opportunity. And you asked that. But yes, they confirmed that they are not planning on merging Asia servers at all. Probably not surprising because Asia server is probably the most popular still, and they do need that extra space, right? Someone asked about expeditions being a bit too expensive, so they said conversion cells are premium items. They will look into it, but then they later said that it's premium items and they intend to keep the cost, so essentially expeditions will remain at 30 energy pretty much, right? Yeah, Siege, a good question about Siege is they asked whether there will be a 1v1 mode, and there will be big news about that. They will talk about it later throughout the updates, but they did mention that there will be a 1v1 mode coming in summer as well. And someone asked about Brawl worldwide, so that was a good question, very good question, probably the best question out there. And they said that no, there's no plans for worldwide Brawl because of ping issues, right? I mean, kind of expected. So yeah, Challenge Arena is coming next week, but for Brawl, unfortunately, it looks like we will not be seeing a worldwide one. And before jumping into the actual dev notes, I have a few other things that they mentioned written down, right? So first of all, they mentioned that like opening boxes and doing professions wastes a lot of time and you cannot do anything during it, right? So they did say that they're looking into making it like a small window where you can do it, right? And while you're doing professions or opening random like essence boxes and stuff, you can do other stuff like battle, fuel hunt, all of that, right? So that's amazing. Another thing, April 1st, it's gonna be an April Fool's event. They did mention some sort of a fun event, right? In Sky Arena, what they did is usually activate every single transmog for a single day, right? So it could be something similar, maybe it will be something different, right? So yeah, there's just for what they mentioned in the Q&A, right? And now I'm gonna jump into the actual dev note for what they mentioned for the upcoming months, right? Okay, and next up, they teased a little bit of a Slayer collab design, right? It should be somewhere around here. I'm gonna mute it, but yeah, this is how the units will look like. So this is the first three. I don't quite remember the names of them. Like, I looked it up in one of the previous videos, but I looked it up and forgot the same minute, right? So this is the first three. This is how the other two will look like, right? And one of them will actually be free. So the one showcased right here, come on Chronicles, man, I will disappoint you. There we go. This one will be a free one, right? As you can see, Goldie, I don't know what it's called. It's available for free. So I'm gonna assume you can get both him and the LD form for free once you evolve it, right? So that's essentially like 2 units being for free. But yeah, that's a little bit of news on the collabs, right? And now let's go into the April notes. Okay, so they didn't provide too many visuals for this, but April will have the raid changes, right? And here's everything that I have written down. So easy mode raids will be introduced. Essentially, it's the regular raids that you currently have. You can enter them yourself. They have a bit lower requirements, so maybe like lower stats, lower power requirements, but you can also get less rewards, right? So this is sort of like an intro for newer players who are just getting into raids. Let's be real, most of them weren't difficult already. Like, who cannot complete Foggy after they finish something like Heath main mission, right? So they will do some sort of easy mode raids. You get less rewards but also lower requirements. Then for hero raids, so the current ones where you get mythic accessories, they will be split into normal battle and ranked battle. Ranked will be a little bit more difficult than normal battle. However, you can get ranked rewards at the end of I don't think they mentioned whether it's like the week, the month, the season, something like that, but there will be some sort of ranked rewards, right? And on top of that, there will be mythic raids, and for this one they did showcase some textures. It should be 1731. Yeah, so this is what the new mythic raid will look like. For this one, it cycles every 4 months and it will get easier every week. So essentially, whenever it releases, it will be super difficult. They did mention that this will be very, very difficult, unlike the hero raids where they were like, you can beat them, right? They mentioned this will be super difficult. For this one, every week, I'm assuming the entries might refresh, right? But every week, the boss will get easier and easier. So this means that for stronger players, you get more rewards by beating it early, right? But for later on, like if you're someone who cannot beat it, it will get easier by the time a few months have passed. You should be able to beat it even if you're not that strong. And for the rewards, although I am excited, I'm a bit scared about what they said. This boss will drop mythic gear, a mythic weapon, with an extra added property. So I'm gonna assume it's gonna be somewhat similar to mythic runes. So basically, legend runes have 4 properties, mythic runes have 4 plus an extra PvP one or something like that, right? So it also might be something like an extra PvP property. It might be an extra worldwide property. It's probably, I mean, it makes sense for them to encourage us actually like spending materials on this raid and stuff like that. But also I can be asked to build my plus 15 gear, so I'm definitely not gonna be investing into it unless it's like super expensive. But yeah, that's the plans for raids at least, and this one is coming in April. Okay, and it looks like I glanced over this one a bit, but in April we're also getting new skills added to summoners, right? So for Orbia, this will be a wind element skill, and it will have some sort of a tornado similar to the one in the Farakella raid, right? So based on this, it looks like it lasts for a long time, and that might just be like consistent damage, consistent debuffs, so kind of excited about that. There will be a fire skina. Well, the element I'm saying is just based on colors, right? Like you can see that there's a lot of fire, right? So I'm gonna guess it's gonna be a fire skill. and it says that it has to do with knockdown and airborne, right? So not sure which one this will be, probably like skill 1 or something, I would guess. Then for Cleave, I'm guessing this is water, because they do say that effects will have a chance to freeze, right? So my guess would be first skill. Soleta will also have some sort of like a multi-arrow, and from the looks of it, it also looks like a water element. And there will also be a ranged ability for heat. Based on colors, it looks like it will be a wind one, right? And now for my transmog lovers, the April update will also have a few transmogs included, so they will showcase it right here. There's 3 Ninetail Foxes, Unicorns, and Fairy Kings, right? So these will come in some sort of a package, right? And for the transmogs, I do have written down that the Ninetail Fox will be a siege battle reward. So for the other 2, you're most likely just gonna be able to purchase them. And for the Fox, you're gonna have to probably place in like top 3, top 10, top 20, I don't know. They didn't mention that. Now, another cool thing that's being implemented is essentially skipping summoner levels with crystals. So you know how you are able to skip the story mode with crystals, right? The first one is a bit more expensive, but after that it gets quite cheap, so it's actually just worth doing, right? The same is happening with summoner levels. So let's say, at least they give an example of Kina being level 90, you have a Cleave at level 1, you can pay a certain amount of crystals to bring that lower level character up to the level of your main character, right? I'm not sure whether this is available only at 90, only starting at 90, or you're just able to do it at any time based on like per level cost or something like that. It would be pretty cool if it was per level, because you could level to like 60 by just skipping quests and then finish off like the last 30-40 levels with crystals, right? I'm not sure what the cost will be. I mean, leveling summoners is expensive, so I do expect the crystal cost to be quite high. My guess would be something like 1,000 crystals per level, but I don't know, right? We'll have to see about that. Now, another thing they mentioned, and this is such a cool feature, though they didn't provide too many details on how it exactly works, it's equipment soul link. I'm gonna call it that. They didn't call it like that. They called it like some other thing, right? I'm gonna call it that because we already know what soul link is. Wait, not soul link, soul connect. There we go, soul connect. Equipment soul connect. So let's say they give an example of you have a gear at plus 15, right? What you can do is connect another piece of gear to bring up the level to that one, right? So this means that essentially, I don't know whether it will be like once per account. Maybe you can soul link one equipment to each piece of gear, right? Like they didn't mention that too much, but they did mention that essentially you can bring up the gear to a certain level. So this sounds amazing, though they did mention that this works for the main stat, right? But it does not work for substats. So there is a good chance that if you want to make full use of this, you might need to level it up to plus 12 to get all 4 substat upgrades, right? And then you can soul connect with plus 15 for those extra stats, right? So I'm curious to see how it works, whether it's like once per account, because if it's once per account, it's like nothing special. But if it's like once per gear, like let's say you have a piece of plus 15 gear and you can connect another piece of gear to that, regardless of how many you have, that will be amazing, because that means you make a plus 15 set and then you can have like a separate accessory set for each new mythic season, right? So yeah, we'll see how that works out, but they did mention that this will be in April as well, so stay tuned for that. And finally, the long-awaited update of Closet Gear. So the outfits, the buffs are finally getting shared. They did say that it might cost a little bit of gold to get those stats or to get those outfits on other ones, right? But once you craft it once, you will have some sort of a way to spread those bonuses, to spread those outfits to other summoners. So about time, because while it's a bit easy to do it for like the gear that needs materials, right? For stuff that needs like TOA coins, especially like Battlefield coins, I haven't even finished my main Battlefield gear. It's probably because Battlefield is boring, but yeah, you will finally be able to share those outfit effects to other summoners, right? So that's amazing. And something about guild rates. So there will be a guild rate difficulty scaling option available for guild leaders and probably vice leaders as well. And what that allows you to do is essentially, let's say if your guild is a bit of a weaker one or you simply don't have enough people in it, right? You are able to select the final boss to be a little bit easier, which means that you will get less rewards, but you will at least be able to complete the boss, right? I'm not sure how it will reflect on the rankings, because rankings are based on time, and what if like an OP guild selects like the easiest level just to get a faster time, right? I'm gonna guess they will rework the ranking in some way, but yeah, they did mention that you will have the ability to scale down the raid. You will get less rewards, but you will at least be able to complete it if you weren't able to previously. And one more treat for transmog lovers, you will get a new transmogs for your summoners as well, so this will be some sort of a maid costume. Damn. I'm gonna leave it at that. And yes, this is probably what you're seeing on the thumbnail of my video. Well, first, light and dark attribute pickup. So, from what I understand, every certain amount of time, and if I understand correctly, every month, there will be an option to get a light or dark unit of your choice. So from what I understand, they will present you with two options, one from dark attribute, one from light attribute, right? And you will be able to choose a monster from these two. It'll essentially, from what they mentioned, you will have some sort of a new in-game currency that you can get through the game, but you can also get it by buying various packs, right? So I'm hoping you have enough to at least get one like every few months, right? But if you do buy packs, it's probably not gonna be an issue at all. And you will be able to choose one of the two light and dark options presented to you. This will be a guaranteed pick. There's like no RNG to it. And yeah, for April, the options are Dark Panda or the Light Paladin. So I mean, if I am able to pick it, the choice is obvious, right? Because I already have the Light Paladin. But yeah, I don't know how to feel about this. Let me know how you feel about this specific feature, because it sort of makes Light and Dark Scrolls not exclusive anymore. Like, it can ruin the fun of summoning a bit, I have a feeling, right? Because previously it was fun to summon like mystical scrolls. After that, you just get so many, sort of light and dark scrolls became the most fun summoning option. And if they're giving us net 5s like this every month, then I have a feeling even light and dark scrolls will be a little bit boring to summon. So I'm hoping this does not kill the fun of summoning, right? But yeah, that will be an option. Okay, and now for updates in May. So the first one is housing, right? The big update of May 2024 will be housing, and it will essentially be some sort of a personal area, right? And I have some notes written down as well. So you can customize it. You can already see like the building have some sort of a plotland. There are little squares where you can see how you can move around, fit various like statues, buildings, or whatever. There's like a guy moving a tree, because what else are you gonna move, right? You're gonna fail to move anything else. But yeah, you can customize it a bit. What they did also mention is you can have your monsters roam around it. You can show some sort of trophies, right? So for trophies, I mean, I'm gonna guess it's gonna be like leaderboard ranks, like someone got Brawl rank 1 or something like that, right? Or maybe you got a top 1 in a raid or something for that week, and maybe you get a trophy or some sort, right? So you'll be able to showcase some sort of trophies. You will be able to visit other people's housing, and you will be able to display your runes and equipment. So yeah, it looks like they are putting a little bit of work into this feature. We'll see how it turns out, right? Whether it's just a decorational one, on whether you can actually make use of it. Maybe if they give us stuff like NPC merchants and stuff like that, we might not even need to leave our island like ever. Yeah. Now next up is siege battle changes, and this one was very interesting. So first of all, they mentioned that sieges will now work a little different, right? So Siege will only be once per week instead of 2 times per week, right? So that's the first change. They are essentially lowering the need to log in constantly there. I don't know how many days it will last this way, right? Whether it's still like 1 to 2 days or whether it's maybe gonna be like 3, 4, 5 days even, right? So Siege will last once per week. 1 week it will be a 1v1v1 mode, so essentially 3 guilds fighting, and then the other week it will be 1v1 mode, so just 2 guilds fighting, and it will alternate like that, right? 3 guilds, 2 guilds, 3 guilds, 2 guilds, stuff like that. And on top of that, there will be some sort of a real-time guild battle. I don't know how that will work out, whether they're talking like actual real-time brawl where you like go 4 units in the summoner against the 4 units in the summoner like a brawl, where you actually just both fight at the same time and not just fighting an AI control one. That would be sick, by the way, but also you need some chicken nerves for that. And they did mention that this will be available for top 20 guilds. 10 of them will participate one Saturday, and the other 10 will participate in another Saturday, right? Like alternating Saturdays as well. This will be a 25v25 mode, so essentially like 25 players versus 25 players from another guild. This one is not final, they mentioned, but that's just basically what they're going for. And there will also be a spectator mode where you can actually spectate these battles in real time. So curious to see how that works out, right? I'm not a massive fan of Siege Battle, at least at the current state, but if it is becoming a real-time mode, that might be interesting, right? They also talked about the collab a bit more, right? Like the upcoming one for whatever is like end of the year, right? They didn't mention too much, but they did say there will be a collab of some sort. And they mentioned some new units. Now this one is actually insane. So first of all, they mentioned that in May, I think in the beginning of May, there will be some sort of a new, I'm quoting their words, cute female character. So whatever monster that is, most likely from the Sky Arena universe, right? I didn't even look into it too much. But yeah, some sort of a cute female character new unit, right? And after that, there will be a mimic unit. And now, this is amazing. A mimic unit is essentially able to mimic skills of any previous collab unit. This means that essentially if you have this monster, you can select genos and your mimicked monster will have the same skills as genos, right? How amazing is that? They did say that the stats of that unit will be slightly lower than the original version, right? But you can mimic skills of any unit, so you can have your genos, your galagos, your Narin Haas, all of that, right? How sick is that? And now a little bit of a teaser for June updates. Of course, it's quite far away, so they didn't give too many details, right? But they did say June is when the new continent will be dropping, and here's a preview of it. The name is Lapis d'Or. Lapis d'Or, weird name, I don't know. But yeah, this is how it looks like, sort of like a... Are those corals? Those look like either flame flowers or corals of some sort, I don't know. It's like a weird wasteland. This is another image, like... This is most likely where like the new raid maybe will be, right? But they did say there will be 2 new areas, 6 dungeons, right? And together with this continent, level 100 will arrive. So level 100 will be coming in June, right? At least that's what they confirmed. And yeah, that's about it for this one, right? Very exciting news. Personally, myself, I'll say I'm kind of excited about the outfits. Like, small thing, right? But you can finally just properly play other summoners, right? So yeah, outfits, pretty cool. New raids, kind of excited to see that. Not a big fan of making like regular raids even easier, right? But yeah, we'll see. Always up for some more challenging PvE content, right? And yeah, hope you enjoy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Which part are you most excited about? Maybe there's a part what you're worried about, right? Like maybe it will ruin the game. Because I am not a big fan of that light and dark pickup event. Not gonna lie. Right? As much as I like OP units, what are we gonna do with regular units then, right? But yeah, that's about it. And peace.